There's something about her that just looks so awesome now under the glow of these garage lights. Like, that's the cool thing about this game, is that there's so many long-term and short-term goals. Obviously, our long-term goal is to get out of here or reach a certain destination. But in the meantime, you're always doing these little scavenging checklists so that you can upgrade your rig, upgrade your base, do all these things that are just meant to get you even more hyped for the next time you go out. And so it's just such a satisfying gameplay loop. And that's why I'm always so excited to get back into this. That's the reason I recorded 6 parts before the first one ever came out. But the first part has come out now, and I've gotten the time to read some of your comments, and you let me know something extremely useful, that this game actually has a myriad of accessibility options that we should check out. So if we go into here, gameplay... I don't know if it would be under accessibility or gameplay. I mean, there's a lot... Oh, wow, there's a lot of options here. That's really cool. I mean, I really appreciate it when games give you this level of customization. But, I mean, I guess I should have known given all the things it showed us at the beginning. But we can even turn off all types of damage. They really just put the cheats right here. Wow, they really do let you fine-tune, like, every aspect of the difficulty. And I think that's really cool, because to me, difficulty isn't a sliding scale, it's a set of gameplay elements which force you to play in the most fun way. And I gotta give them credit, even for all of these options, I haven't really been frustrated so far, so I'm gonna, for the most part, leave this stuff as is. However, there is one thing I'm going to change, and it's just because of the way we do this channel. Pause game while in menus. Yeah, we can set it to only be for the logbook. That's fine by me. I think that's fair. But other than that, we're going to leave things as they are. Because I really like this game. But something that I've been thinking about in the time between parts is that, yes, we've made ourselves more survivable, but we also need to have the endurance. Because the last couple of trips have been marked by simply not having the capacity, having to leave so many things behind because we were full up. And we truthfully have a lot of options for dealing with that, so we're going to look into those right now. I just hope I haven't spent too much. Yes, the XL roof storage, that's what I want. And for that we need to unlock the roof rack first. Oh wow, that's actually a fair ways down, but that's alright because we need this stuff anyway. Alright, let's make some steel sheets. I've just kind of been keeping the small fuel can here, but I want to see if we can get the big one and put it there. We can't, okay. So we might as well just kind of have a redundant supply then and fill the little guy up just in case of emergencies. In the meantime, I'm just kind of gathering the materials to have these side racks and the roof rack, which we're going to want to find some things to put on them. All of this is long overdue. It's just, I haven't really had the need to build this stuff yet, or at least until the last part. Now, what is it going to take for us to build the XL roof storage? Just a couple of steel sheets. We're quickly going through just about everything we have. But it's totally worth it. Look at this! I don't think we're going to be running out of storage space anytime soon. The record times for this are going to get so much longer because I'm going to be spending so much time just grabbing every little thing I can. But it's going to save time in the long run. Since fuel capacity has been a consistent problem with this new engine, we can always stick one right here on the side, and that'll be our extra capacity. Actually, it would probably be a good idea to remove this, put you over here, there we are, and then put you over here so that you're on the same side as the regular fuel tank so we can do you both at once. I just... Preparation makes me excited to use this stuff in the field, and I think that's why this game is so much fun, because you're constantly hatching your little schemes for how next time will be different. You're always running into new troubles and coming up with solutions to those troubles. If we get ourselves some more lead platelets, which we can get something that's much, much better for rad resistance, so we're going to keep an eye out for that. We need a lot more copper wire, because we've been neglecting it so much. I don't know why I'm bothering to close doors. That's going to bother me so much more. There we go. And you, sir, dumpster pearl. We could always... There's such a thing as staggered saves. They exist for a reason. None of my tools have worked on this. Let's... Oh, wow! I guess that does work. I'm sure one of you will be able to tell me why that's the most inefficient way to get stuff out of it, but it worked. I think we might have had more, actually. Didn't we maybe have another one at some point? I'm not sure. Alright, I didn't find anything else. Guess I was mistaken about that. But let's start planning a route. I mean, at this point, I'm confident that we can do anything. I've spent so long being so worried about going around these things, but if we're diligent, we'll be fine, and I think with all our new capacity, it's worth taking the scenic route. There we go. Some of our more advanced recipes are going to require us to go into scorch zones and gather some more thermosap. Thankfully, that's the end of the road, meaning we should have plenty of time to do so. But I also want to spend more time in the mires, because that's going to enable us to find some new and exotic materials, things we haven't really messed with yet. But I am more confident than ever. And that's just... the fact that that's a consistent feeling should probably concern me, but you know what? It doesn't. Starting a journey northward into the heavy fog has become kind of a staple of the experience. But it seems like this time we can't really enjoy the roadways. We have got to go off the path in order to find some of these chargers. The thing is, like, even though these early ones don't tend to really charge us up that much, it's still good to have the limb energy so that we can spend it on things. After all, this research took no small toll on us. Maybe I should have gone for the radiation-resistant parts, but my logic in going for the electric was that we end up running into electrical dangers a lot more critically, the kind of thing that really shuts us down in the moment. But we are gathering everything we can, no holding back. I actually really like the mechanics of the impact hammer, mainly because it kind of wants you to, like, wind up into it. Encourages you to get the timing right so that you can run in and have it deploy at just the right moment. Like, everything about this is just so tight when you learn how it works, and it's not obtuse in teaching you how it works. Well, at the same time, it rarely directly tells you anything. A lot of the time, the scannable documents, or rather just the scans in general, of the different anomalies are really just there to give you a story about a time those things were encountered. But you can still learn from those things, and just from observation. If this game were trying to be more hardcore, I think I would have a lot more problems with that, but since it's not... And remember that even if the electric-resistant panels don't end up being the way to go, they're still hugely helpful to us because they just have 50% more health in general. So there's really no reason not to go that way. Yep. Now, one thing that I had forgotten to do with all of our new storage space, you trying to take my door? Take your life. No, you don't. Take that. Get out of here, you. As I was saying, one thing I also wanted to do with our new storage space was tack a pair of spare headlights. But I'm not sure if I had enough flares for that anyway. Oh, you're trying to take me. Yeah, get slammed into the tree. Watch out, George. I think that's 2 George of the Jungle references in this series. That's unprecedented. Alrighty, boys. So long as you stay where you are, we'll have no problems. Well, imagine if there was actually some resource we could extract from the tourists. I think it'll be a good idea to always keep our most important stuff, like, in the trunk. Because my biggest #1 enemy in the last part, and I suspect in the future, was the pickpockets. And I would really hate for them to yank that thing right off the roof. And the easy thing about scavenging wrecks is that if I want to top off my tank, I can always just take this small fuel can, drop it in here. Oh, good God, that's slow. But I guess that's why it's the emergency backup, and we can just take whatever we want from here. So now entering the mires. Ooh, and we're getting anchor obfuscation again. And we're driving, I noticed we're driving a little weirdly, and it's probably due to the damage to that tire back there. So let's put it in park. Thankfully, this is going to recharge our batteries. I was really starting to get low, which was making me worry a bit. And the glow from those lights, part of me almost wants to just stay here. But this is a good opportunity to put some of our new skills to the test. So now we can take these sealing kits and just sort of... I assume it's a sealing kit. Yep, there we go. Usually is with tires. And then what else? No, I don't want to transfer that. We are going to need the anchor radar. And it seems like maybe there's something off to our right, but you can never really tell with these things. Probably is not, actually. So let's get a move on. There's a couple of things we actually really need. We need more gas cylinders to build a new impact hammer, and probably a hand vac. But while we're here in the mires, we're also going to want to have a look around and see what we can find and what we can learn. This is the biome I feel like we've really dug into the least. Oh wow, it is really picking up, which has actually become a good thing. I'm also losing track of the road when we get into the water. Wow. I've got to imagine that the deep zone is probably just an absolute nightmare to navigate. I'm seeing some of those lights, and I'm seeing one of those stations. That is exactly what I need. We can run the headlights here, I think. I need to get me some of those lead platelets for my new anti-rad suit. And all the electronics I can get. Now, does the obfuscation, does it show a general area? Or is it completely wrong? That's what I want to know. Hitting a pedestrian during a rainy night is bad during the best of times, but this would have been a bit ridiculous. Okay, let's head into that dense cluster of buildings in the center of town, and there we can do our scavenging and our reconfiguring of our plan. If we make it there, because wow, this is truly poor visibility. Those mid-zone rains really are something special. I mean, I had noted how nice a touch it is that there's all this stuff flying around during a storm. But what if it's all alien flora, you know? We can park you right up here. Although I'd imagine it's going to be pretty radioactive. Renewable power. Fully charge a car battery from under 50% using only natural means. Wow. Okay, Rads? No. Excellent. We might as well top off then. Howdy, folks. You guys have, like, a bathroom or a higher-end workstation I can use? No? I'll just help myself to what's in your cabinets, then. Is it worth using the vending machine? What are we gonna get from you? Yep. Old school steering wheel. Well, I mean, we might as well, right? Unfortunately, we can't apply it just yet. There you go. I mean, it's an old school vehicle. We might as well do old school stuff with it, right? Ooh, wow. Thank you guys for pointing out the Arta truck right here. I would not have found it otherwise. Yep. Oh wow, it's a lot. Side fuel tank! We can get ourselves another one, and hey, for the low, low cost of free, why look a gift horse in the mouth, right? That building is actually looming there in the moonlight. That's kind of creepy. Okay, well, let's put these gears away. Just put all this stuff away. And I should still have the... Oh, no, it's in my hands. I'm not getting any sort of return. So I guess there isn't anything close by. Howdy, are you the fuel station attendant? I'm not sure if pumping your own gas is legal in this state, but I'm doing it anyway. Wow, we are carrying so much. I wonder why it has a star. Is that like some kind of like item favoriting thing that it just automatically applied? Alright, there's a storm rolling in, so we're gonna want to make this quick. But I do need more, come on. Sometimes it doesn't do it at first, and then I try to hold it down, and it just doesn't start. Unfortunately, none of the critical components that I'm looking for seem to be here. Mechanics kit, I'll take you. Wow, this is actually a ton of loot in this place. A ton. Beautiful. That's like a whole early game loot run just in there. Oop. We are leaving. There's a return over in that direction, so let's get started. Seeing lots of red lights as well. Oh, and a pickpocket. You're the red light. And you seem to go hand in hand a lot of times with those bubblegum buddies. I wonder if it's a coincidence or not? Okay, if I had the impact hammer, I could get that thing. But so we may be able to after this, because that's the part we needed. Get all of you. Oh. Storm's upon us. Storm's upon us, and it is raining. Okay, can we quickly, very quickly, build the impact hammer? You are slot 1. Come on. And slam. I just really desperately need, I desperately need copper wire, and, yeah. But this is really not good for the car, so... Actually, we're gonna have to drive in the opposite direction that it's moving, which is fine by me. Now, these things... Oh, wait, are those more of those gum nests? There's a tower here we can scavenge. That appears to be moving off for now, but we'll keep an eye on it. That's not good, but something has caught my interest here. Go. Oh no, this is spreading all over. Yeah, I'm gonna want a scan of those things down there. We saw those in the distance in the last part, but we never really got the chance. Up and down. Oh, well, actually, it looks like there's a little bit over here. They said something about these bulbs protecting, like, the frog spawn type of things. There's a weird glowing insect here. Salamander Grotto. Partial memo circa 1971. You know? It's almost like frog spawn, so this is what it was talking about. The thing is, I don't see any signs of it growing or changing. I've now discovered a dozen such collections of these egg-like things, and sure, they must be organic, but I have little more to go on than that. Do they function like eggs and provide some form of incubation and safety? How are they sustained? And if all or even some of that is the case, what is growing in here? Growing or waiting. They're curiously warm, in a fashion quite unlike anything else I've ever come across. It's almost calming. I see nothing tending to these, nor any evidence of what might have first deposited them. The only connection I can find is that those gigantic glowing orbs are usually nearby, and what little wildlife I can still recognize around here steers well clear. It steers well clear. Does that mean I should be ready to move once I take these? Does that mean that I shouldn't be taking these at all? That's the other question. And yeah, we would be approaching the end of our loot normally, but now we're just getting started. Can I make myself a... the handbag is still just a little bit out of reach. Oh, we actually need tier 2 to craft it. We can't do it here. Oh, well, that's a little bit annoying. But that's a sign we should be skedaddling. You know what? We're moving in the right direction. Water can't be too deep. Perhaps we should... Oh, you know what? I just realized it actually does show things like the top part on here. It does, so we will know if it gets taken, which means it probably can be taken by the pickpockets. Yeah, you're something different. Neon Reef. Something teletype autoscript, Ardor reference win. At first I thought I was seeing things after... well, you know, after that incident when so many of us saw things. And then they promptly told us to never talk about it. I figured this was just another hallucination. Something else I shouldn't log or report. Like how we don't talk about the things that chase us, or the files at Red Meadow, or the weird weather, or... I know I'm getting off topic. Point is, whatever this stuff is, it both responds to and seems to create light. I think we're looking at something similar to glowing algae, similar to those, dinoflagellates. I've got some notes here somewhere. I'm pretty sure this material is infused with... neon? No, that can't be right. Anyway, my point is that I think we could actually use some of this stuff, and I'd really like to talk to Dr. Turner about this, but her office isn't taking calls. What's happened to her lately? Is she still in charge? Nice story pacing game, the same Red Meadow that we're in pursuit of right now. Okay, so best bet would probably be to just hang a left and get out of here. But there's no reason why we can't do just a little bit more scavenging. Yeah, being in the water I'm sure is not good for us. Although it doesn't seem to be immediately oh, no! It damaged our engine! Which actually makes perfect sense. I just hadn't encountered it before. How do we deal with that? We need an electrician's kit. Okay, well, we can deal with that, but we'll save that until we're in slightly safer waters. You know what? I'm feeling a little bit ambitious. Perhaps more so than I should, but for the skills, I want to find myself one of those obfuscated anchors, even if it's just one. The storm is approaching the instability, but it's just something we've got to do. Yep, out here in the rads, I'm just not having any luck finding anything. I really wanted to try finding one of those obfuscated anchors, and in fact I did spend a lot of time looking around, but I actually just couldn't get a ping in any direction. At least not without going all the way back and risking the instability. Unless, of course, there's going to be something right out here. No. So yeah, I don't know. I even tried going right on top of where two of the bigger indicators were. Well, it should keep moving. I don't accept that. I don't accept that. We had one before. I think we can do it. I think we can do it. I'm going to turn off my light to save battery. There's something. Oh, you've landed right on the edge of the instability storm. I'm going to go for you. I'm not getting as much power out of this engine as I probably could be. Oh, I really want to go for you. I'm presuming that's got to be you. The instability should have moved a bit past you by now. But maybe if we hurry, we can avoid the red. Oh, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. I don't even know what we do with you. In, we're taking damage. Bark, get out. A lot of rads, a lot of rads. Payload. Oh, a whole ton of things and things and things that we just do not have room for. Okay, Alright, here's what we do. Nope, put everything in there. Yes, we're just tanking damage while we do this. And just pick up all your stuff, all the usefulness, everything. Everything we can take. Everything still seems to be doing well. We're just gonna run. We got a... well, who knows if it was even worth it long term, honestly, but we got a bunch of cool stuff out of it, and we learned what those things are. So, what did we learn? We learned that she can tank a little bit of light, horrible instability and radiation. And we also learned that so can we. And as far as decades from now, who knows, but we got a lot of cool stuff, and maybe we should keep a lookout for those things later on down the road. Now, very high instability in here. Battery sapping, swift storm, dense acid. This is actually going to be extremely dangerous. Alright, let's do it. Now we have at least a brief moment of respite while we're here in the beginning. So let's put away everything we can and see about how to move from there. We're gonna have to start putting our stuff in the upper compartment, but that's okay. I need an electrician's kit to fix up our engine. There we go. And we need, what do you need? A mechanic's kit, which actually we already have. I'm pretty sure we got one from the drop, so that's convenient. Alright, we're gone. There's a lot to loot. I'm just really worried about that battery sapping. I guess we'll just have to see how it does us, but we can... it's at least bright enough that we can turn off our lights. Oh, it's just doing everything in its power to tempt me into staying here, huh? Okay, let's grab the thermosap. This whole game is just a game of, I should go, but... Yep, all of you. I need all of you. Yeah, we're definitely running into more situations where the hand vac would be very useful. Actually, one of them required an upgraded hand vac, and that's what we're probably gonna want to grab. But it's got to be researched first. Let's go. Oh, it's you. Hang on. What kind of horrible damage are you doing? I need you to go away. You're taking my thermostat. Well, no, you're not. Thanks for finding it for me. I would have left without it. Unless you're capable of just grabbing stuff right out of my inventory, which would be most awful. Oh my god, no. No, you're just gonna keep tempting me with riches until I'm dead. Alright, I need a first aid kit then. Just keep eating snacks when you're in a radioactive cloud. It'll keep you healthy. Yep. Oh no, I'm being pulled. I'm being pulled by the buddies. Hang on, wait, if we can break... yes, if we can break your line of sight, then that'll work. Putting my own health at risk for so much loot. Okay, you guys are gonna have to... You guys are gonna have to go. Nope, I'm really gonna need you guys to let me go here. The instability is creeping in, which is not unexpected, of course. But I just can't let this stuff go. I need so much. It really is, like, I feel like this game does have a bit much in the way of stop and go in these dangerous situations. Like, in other situations, it can be explained away as I should be walking around more and not just pulling up to every single thing. But in cases like this, we really need to keep the car close. I gotta wonder at a certain point if the game just feels bad for me. Like it knows I haven't been scrapping the thermosap, and it's just giving it to me everywhere. We have gotten an absolutely colossal amount of thermosap and lead. In other words, everything I really wanted. Not sure on the copper wire, but I'm sure we got a lot of that and electronics as well. This has been a very successful run. Even if it's only a fraction of what I thought I could get away with. I can hear you guys messing around out there. Do you respond to these things? I bet you will. There we go. In fact, we can even trade. Alright, so you all pretty much work the same way. Later taters. I do want to try and grab some anchors before we go. There we go. Oh, you had to be right in the middle of Death Valley. Okay, cool. Well, thankfully we don't need these to escape here. We can just take what we want and go. There you are. It's you guys. Okay, well, let's get ready to use the Limpulse. There we go. Goodbye. Oh, we just got gooped. And the windshield wipers have a really tough time with it. Understandable. But we really should not be spending time here any more than we have to. This is already such a successful run. Right tire damaged again. One more anchor here. I wouldn't be risking it, but we really need this type of energy, and we need the corrupted energy as well. That's the one thing we really have, like, none of. Yes, all the stuff. All the stuff. And we take our leave. Do not be tempted by the promises of loot in the background. Storm is upon us, and that means that now is probably a good time to be leaving. Bye. Oh wow, we've completely lost the display. I don't know if I've ever seen that happen before. Okay. Something bad's gonna happen if I stay. I mean, something bad's happening now. But there's an Arda truck. But maybe just a second? Oh, I'm a loot goblin and I can't help it. I don't like that steam and smoke and whatnot that's coming off of me. Alright. Here and to the left. This is gonna hurt us a bit, but that's alright. The quest for loot is often one fraught with peril, and it's just something we have to deal with out through here rather than staying on the roads. I can deal with the things screwing with our car's systems. That's fine. The problem is everything which actively causes damage. Yep. Because you can fight this to an extent, the rest, not so much. We've made it. Oh, never mind. I thought we were gonna have a moment to ourselves. You saw to the end of that right quick. Alright, let's pull forward just a little bit. Hopefully our thing will start collecting from you. Oh, no, you're actually damaged. That's why you're not. Okay, so we're gonna have to prioritize fixing you. Alright, well that's wrong, which we can build pretty much whatever we need. You need a mechanics kit. Very well. There we go, good as new. And I wonder, is there anything else? You need a sealing kit. I think the other one had an issue as well. You also need a sealing kit. No problemo. The weather may be a bit rough, but being able to hear that music is actually quite comforting in this moment, believe it or not. I mean, I feel like the last couple levels we made it out of absolute agony, and now we can sort of breathe a little bit, do a little bit more learning. And we should use a little bit more repair putty to get some of our more critical components working again. This thing is certainly holding up much better than it would have in the past. That much is true. And a lot of the stuff we've collected during this run would not have been possible without those last-minute upgrades. But this facility seems a bit unlike the stuff we've dealt with before. So maybe we shouldn't be celebrating just yet.
I remember red metal like it was yesterday. You up to your eyeballs in paperwork? Francis coated in chalk dust from the blackboards.
You mistaking my lab notes for a trash pile and throwing away weeks of work?
Yeah, it'd be nice to see it again.
They bulldozed that facility to the ground. There's nothing left to reminisce about.
Your memories of this place aren't nearly as fond as theirs, even though, you know, obviously they have their history as well. They're still very much into it. One of my favorite pieces of characterization in this is the reveal, in the last part, that, you know, Tobias actually does have the heart of a scientist. I mean, it was just actually really kind of adorable. And the way he's, like, just so good-hearted, you know? The way he encourages Francis the way he does. But an armored car usually means good things. Couldn't tell if our hood was flying up for a second there. It seems fine. So we can break this down. Actually, you know what? We shouldn't allow this thing to reach 0 health. And the reason for that is because now that we have a couple of these plasma scrappers, we can actually leave one between runs inside the thing that automatically repairs stuff. I'm not complaining about these constant rainstorms either. Keeping our battery nice and charged.
From the very second I heard your voice coming through my speakers.
I mean, everything that happened, handing over Lynn, the way the project ended, it cost you Alan, you know, your career, the entire damn Olympic Peninsula. She's still here.
So are you. You chose your urban legends over everything else.
You wonder if I regret it?
Oh, I have no interest in regret. I want to know if you ever felt that leaving was a real option.
After everything I've seen and heard and felt here, no, not a chance.
Then we have that in common.
Seems being in here doesn't fully protect me from the rain. My God, what a facility this is. From the map, I was expecting rows of hangars, if that, but this is something else. Okay, well, I guess first stop is going to be the big tower in the center.
How's Francis?
He hasn't left the bedroom.
I'm sorry. You didn't know about his demotion. It wasn't my secret to tell.
It's fine. This is between him and me.
I just want to make sure that there's gas in the tank for when we really get moving. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys, like, all share a capacity or something, don't you? You don't have much in you, but I did notice that my gauge has more notches on it. I'm just going to take this with me in case we find some cars to drain. Maybe some barrels. It's quite radioactive here as well. Ooh, a friendly dumpster. Oh, no, just a regular dumpster. I've spent so long here, I get surprised when something isn't paranormal. Or, well, Oppie would probably not like me referring to this as the paranormal, I'm sure. Oh, come on. Just look at this place. And to think all of this is the technology of decades past. The thing is, this is very much a vibes game. It's a gameplay game too, for sure, but more so the vibes. And I think a big part of that is the decision to set it in the 90s. For a while, I've been thinking that it seemed almost kind of random. But I get it now. It's not just the plausibility of having none of this really be public knowledge. It's just the comfiness that, like, the feeling of the 90s seems to exude. I mean, it's all there right from the beginning, right when we arrived, and that song played. A few episodes ago, I referred to it as almost the unofficial theme of the game, but it's as close as it gets to the official theme, so I take that back. Let's grab you. Not because we need you to leave, because we don't, but because we want your energy. What was all that? Well, first of all, put you on. Hey, at least we're not taking rad damage anymore, right? We're gonna get you gooped. Go, go. And let's see about this objective. There's an Artatruck over there as well. Whole lot of goodies, as expected. Still, we were told that perhaps some researcher could still be living out here. Could that actually be the case? I mean, we know, they say that there could be as many as 100 people still living in here. Maybe this isn't all that far-fetched. The only reason you didn't believe it could be so is because you were told that he had died long before.
So, what did Alan tell you about his work? He was second in command of Dr. K's lab, after all.
Alan didn't discuss his work with me, nor did I share mine with him.
Wait, you were head of the whole stinking department. You You must have known something about what their lab was doing.
If there was anything useful to be found, I'd have sussed it out already. That's all I did after the accident. Try and fail to find any answers.
We got a big one of you just kind of sitting in the middle here. And you are very much a threat even when we're not directly near you. Actually, technically, with the fact that you can fling those over walls even when we're not within direct line of sight. Can't forget the plasma. These trees are so freaking me. Like, until you realize that that's a whole lot more sway than you'd normally expect a tree to have. Here they all come. At least your goop goes away fairly quickly. Can we make it up and over this? Not quite. Oh, there's a ramp right there. This fog that's set upon us makes that a little bit difficult to see. Huh. It's almost like you're hiding in the fog intentionally. This door is not gonna open, is it? Maybe there's another way through? I'm sorry, what am I hitting? Is there like an invisible wall there? I think we're gonna have to leave you behind. No, there's an invisible wall here as well. That's... something is not right. You are open. Let's just park under the...
Dr. K's access records were coded to the lab that used to be here.
I'm feeling less optimistic by the second. Not a scour this place clean.
Something's here. We just can't see it.
Oh, following a hunch. Not your usual MO, Oppie.
No, but being suspicious of Arda is.
I'm cutting it for the sake of pacing, but I'm just letting you know that I did go back and scrap that tower behind us. This is quite a bit darker than the previous interior we explored. But I guess we're trying to work our way this way, right? I mean, that's the way the arrow goes. In any case, this place has clearly seen better days. Most of it is completely collapsed. But it seems like those pipelines did run directly through here. And this looks like it may once have been an elevator to much further down. Can actually get down there. Should I have is another matter. I don't think I was supposed to be here. Oh, come on. Come on, game. Okay, thank you. Oh, I was about to be really worried. Oh, this wheel is completely destroyed. And there is no fix for it. Okay, well that explains why we were handling so much worse. What'll it take for us to just craft a crappy one? Not much. It won't service quite as well, but we have enough space that we can just kind of take the other one off, and maybe the healing thing can fix it. So I've got to assume that deeper in the facility is always and automatically better. But my god. Pitch black, colossal urban exploration. What made that?
Whoa, driver, hang on. Where are you going? That should have been the end of the facility.
According to the blueprints, anyway.
It is an access tunnel. And I do not like what I'm hearing. What is this? This is like the tunnels on the way to like a submarine base or something. That's the only place I've seen anything that can be compared to this. This door is open. What have we just found?
Protocol activated. Scan artist security credentials immediately.
Oppie, can you help me out?
Well. After all these years, and Honor still has something to hide. We're definitely onto something now.
Driver, anything you find down there, scan and transmit it back to us. We'll work on disengaging the security protocol.
Oh, you'll work on it. I'm actually surprised. Do you want me to be passive in this?
Okay, here's something. This thing in the deep zone, they called it the Well.
Oh, fantastic. Tobias, run those reports through the decryptor and see what you can find.
Yeah, I'm sure this is real exciting for you, but it's real scary for me. Would it be a bad thing to break this open? It seems to be powering a lot. There goes our impact hammer. I'm not sure if we can build another one. There's so much plasma to be found here. I'm seeing lights on in all these places. That's a lot, so I guess let's just get to work. I'm your scrounger on the ground. I'm your handvac. That's what I've come to realize throughout this playthrough. Let's not break these things until we can get back. Oh, but before I start scanning more of these, let's scan the one we've already found. Okay, I actually legitimately cannot find where it stored the experiment data, so maybe this can tell us. It's in here. ARDA Phenomena Report 8080. Classified ARDA research, yeah, no. You're actually completely off limits to us.
Oh, you'll like this, Tobias. Your remnant origin story, if you will.
Let me guess, you're about to ruin a good urban legend with a bunch of science.
Fine, I'll read this one myself. Nice work, driver. We'll review these and summarize our findings after.
Laugh it up. God, I feel, I had been saying how I feel like I'm being kind of brought into the fold and how I'm excited for that to be the case. This is the first time they're really talking over me. And it doesn't seem to be malicious, but it's also the first time they're directly shutting me out, unless they need to do some decryption on their end, which... I'm just working under the assumption that if they didn't want me doing this, they would have told me not to. And until proven otherwise, all loot is lootable. One thing that it's only now I'm really seeing is that you can't charge something up with left click and be holding shift. You can't do it while sprinting. It's kind of unintuitive, and I'm realizing now it's probably the reason for a lot of the troubles I've been having.
These lab notes are complete gibberish.
What about these diagrams, though? It looks like he was trying to convey something.
You can admire the doctor's newfound art skills all you want. You won't find anything useful in them.
You're always so sure. I mean, when you go into a situation literally knowing nothing, everything is significant. And somehow, after all this time, you don't realize that? I mean, every little bit of what we've heard about this place's operation is all about ignoring what's right in front of you, at refusing to acknowledge what's there. That's why you can't learn anything.
This is a decrypted record of the accident. Poppy, are you sure you want to hear this? It's got details about Ellen's final moments.
It's been over 30 years. I'm past ready. Go on, driver. Keep snooping and see what else you can find.
Oh, I'm snooping. This is crazy. It's just us doing our regular gameplay, but in the shadow of this. And this is the moment when it chooses to keep us so in the dark. Ooh, it started to rain inside the chamber. There must be a breach in the roof. This would actually be a good place to park you. At this rate, we're gonna break our impact hammer before we run out of plasma. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I have more resources in my car than I do back home. And that's saying something. So I'm really excited about all the stuff we're going to be able to build in a frenzy as soon as we return. But it seems like what this is all working towards is the stuff right in the center. Come on. There is an option to make it so that these work at a button press and not by holding them down. And with how finicky that is, I actually considered it, but I figured I'd come this far. If we're willing to drive in the water a bit, yeah, no. Let's not risk the engine. Let's just do this much on foot. Because we don't have a place to pull up on the other side. It's something we're just going to have to do ourselves. Just gotta be right here.
Alan's lab notes. Maybe my late husband sent us something useful from the grave after all.
And you're all clear.
Give us a moment, we'll let you know what we found in all this data. You can make your way back to the auto shop after you're done scouring the place. And driver, thank you.
So what I'm getting is, I did what you couldn't in all these years. And yet I'm still left in the dark as to what it is I actually did. You've got all of this knowledge, the holy grails over and over again, and you've got nothing to share with me? What would happen if we were to stand in the center of all of this? To look straight up into the beam. It's gorgeous, but nothing happened to us. Let's use a blowtorch to do some of our repairs. There we go. And oh no, this is much, much better than the repair putty. I mean, the description made it seem like it would break in like 2 seconds. But this is actually really, really good. Okay, well, we'll be holding on to one of these at all times. This one... Wait, do you work on headlights? You do. Anything that the repair putty works on, you will repair just fine. I honestly love it when this game dives into shades of Urbex. Because Urbex in a car is not something you often think about, but, well, this game makes you think about it, and it makes you realize it's underutilized, no matter how much you have to stretch to create a world where that's even possible. Here we go. We come through here. We probably got to fix these wipers. I had honestly stopped thinking of them as an independent part. we make it down this road, that's it. We're in the deep zone. And after the challenges that the mid-zone offered, I'm more nervous than ever. But also quite excited. Let's go. Oh no, you're working again. Huh. Well, this isn't the deep zone, but it is the highest up we've been on the map by far.
Driver, you hit the jackpot. We've got a lead on what you're heading toward in the deep zone. Tobias, give us the rundown about the well.
ARDA classified it as a hotspot of ultra-high energy gamma radiation. Its eruptions were spontaneous, and ultimately ARDA made no conclusion about what caused it, when it would blow, or how destructive it would be.
ARDA, of course, wanted to control this bottomless well of energy. So they brought in Dr. K and Allen to research activation and containment. They discovered a way to reliably trigger the well, and that was the remnants.
And that's what the remnants have been leading people towards. The well.
So the Wish Granter, then. That's what you're leading me towards, right? There's always a Wish Granter when there's a zone.
This second report's a good one. Ready to hear where the remnants came from? The original remnants were created in Dr. K's lab. They aimed to create a trigger for activating the well by infusing objects with a carefully calibrated limb wave. The ones that shared a resonant frequency would...
Yeah, just get to the good stuff.
You know, you'd be a much better ghost hunter if it weren't for that unfortunate attention span. Reading this makes it obvious how the remnants ended up in the wild.
Wait, what? How?
The gamma ray surge that caused the mass hallucination event. That energy irradiated everything within a 10-mile radius. Objects with the right characteristics absorbed that energy and became the remnants people found out in the zone.
Wow. Francis would get a kick out of that one.
I'll tell him later.
Yeah, I'm really worried about Francis. I don't like not hearing from the whole ensemble for this long.
I've reviewed Dr. K's lab notes. Now we know what he was doing in that lab after the accident. Spinning in circles for years.
His injuries were real. Dr. K's radiation exposure should have been fatal.
And the minute he could stand on his feet again, Arda shuttled him right back to his lab and bid the monkey to dance.
They allowed him to carry on in the hopes that he would reproduce anything useful. He worked for 2 whole years before they quietly retired him from his post.
Sorry we scrambled your brain. Here's your pension. Bye.
Find that amusing, do you? Okay, it's kind of amusing.
You've got that accident record ready, Tobias? It's time.
Okay, then. September 14, 1961. ARDA's finalized report on what happened that night.
Dr. K and Allen were testing the activation potential of lab-created remnants. That night was a run-of-the-mill remnant test. Nothing out of the ordinary. The remnant in question was a tungsten cube. At 3:23 a.m., the cube was brought towards the well. The well reacted at nominal levels. However, at the 500-meter distance, the cube was sucked into the well and triggered the gamma ray surge. The energy output continued ramping up, and at 15 seconds, showed no signs of stopping. Then, Allen...
Go on. I can handle it.
Dr. K testified that Allen engaged the suppression protocol, then the kill switch, both of which failed. Dr. K ordered Allen to get to safety, but Allen insisted on staying at the controls. Only when he flipped the radiation polarity did the energy output plateau, then collapse back into itself. Allen's gamma radiation exposure
Was fatal due to his proximity to the well. If it weren't for him, the entire zone might have gone under.
That's who Alan was.
I'm sorry, Uppy.
I'd expect nothing less from him.
I mean, look, you knew he was gone. At least in some way you did get to learn that it meant something, right?
Once that car gets to the well, we can expect another gamma ray eruption. We'll need a way to cut it off.
And I may have found the answer in Alan's lab notes. His work on that suppression technique was top-notch.
What's interesting is Dr. K and Alan didn't know any more than we do now. They had no conclusions about what the well is.
Or what the remnants did. Or how they interacted with this well. Maybe they're ladles that scoop out a metered amount of gamma radiation. Maybe they trigger an eruption that we can't stop and will destroy the zone if we get it too close.
That's a hell of a range. What are we going to do?
We keep going.
But if it's an eruption...
I already sacrificed the Olympic Peninsula once for Limtech. How many chances for total and utter fallout does a gal get in her life, huh?
Uppy. In another life, we would have made a fantastic team.
In no universe would I not have murdered you in your sleep.
That's fair. Okay, but we are totally out of gas, confirming that it does draw from these side tanks. Meaning... well, we're just gonna have to take from here for now. But still, I actually haven't really been scavenging much gas since the very beginning, so that's just proof that if we do, we've got plenty. Like, plenty. We are gonna have to start doing more of that, though. And really, this is far longer than any run we've ever done. I mean, I'm sure I'm cutting this down to the length of a regular episode, but honestly thought that was a pickpocket. It's just one of those weird trees. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm cutting this down to the size of a regular episode, but this is by far my longest run, and it's almost all looting. That object has been looming in the distance this entire time. We've come all the way to the northern part of the map, and still it's like we're no closer. Alright, well... We're actually nowhere near full, even in spite of a massive amount of loot going to us. But I do think that we should probably be calling it soon. The only thing is, why? Like, why stop? Because anything we don't do now is just going to be a run all its own later on, right? We're going to break this impact hammer, but it's totally worth it, you know? You would have stolen it had I not broken it right in that moment, and that brings me some measure of joy. I'm absolutely certain at this point that we are not going to be wanting for really anything. So if we just back up a little bit, that thing along the road will be ready. And we can go. No turning back. At a certain point, I just had to do it, because I know that I'm just going to keep building tools and keep getting things. And I'm going to end up going for like a 4-hour record session. I'm already pushing it. Oh, badness. Yep. Oh wow, it is literally all over the road. Thankfully, though, it does not seem to have introduced any ill effects thus far. It does handle just a little bit weirdly, using the spare tire alongside all these off-roads. But hey, it's just impromptu differential steering, right? Yep. And in we go. This is one of the only times where I'm honestly mourning just leaving so much behind. There we go, an hour and 46-minute run.
Now we go into the deep zone. Easy peasy.
Except for the issue of the old wall.
Right, yeah. That.
You got some genius idea up your sleeve, huh?
Is that how you think it works? That scientists construct genius at will?
Well, yeah. Do you?
Well, in this case, I do. But don't expect it to work like that every time. Driver, the quarantine checkpoints will be the best way through the old wall, but they're death traps in their own right. But I designed something to help. Check out the blueprints I sent over.
Will do. Limb shield.
The old anomalies took up residence in the crossing points. It's not enough to have a shield. The shield itself needs to be shielded.
Interesting. Sure, the battery cost for this protective device is significant, but in retrospect, it was so obvious that the projection and then suspension of semi-magnetized plasma ions in a rapidly oscillating Spinar field would provide a substantial physical safeguard. Like, duh. You know what? All I heard is protection.
The energy drain on that shield is massive. It won't last you more than 5 seconds.
Yes, and?
You'll need to recharge on the go, but the Deep Zone's grid is completely dark.
You know, what if we could reroute our power into the Deep Zone? But we'd need to jumpstart the network somehow.
That car is basically the world's most overpowered electromagnet on wheels. The driver induces a current, then you open the electrical floodgates.
They'd have to induce the current the entire way through the old wall while making the crossing and maintaining speed.
I don't know what to tell you. If you don't believe the driver and that car's got what it takes by now, then go back to hunting ghosts. We've got a job to do here.
This could work. Are you in, Francis?
I don't know.
Look, we have a real chance of losing everything at the old wall. I'd like to not fail this far along.
How can we know this will work?
We don't. That's how science works. We form a theory, and we test it, and we fail, and fail, and fail, and only sometimes do we succeed.
Come on, Francis. Please?
Fine. I'll do it.
All right. The team is assembled.
Driver, get on with building that limb shield. We'll work on spinning up the power grid in the meantime.
We've done it. We're part of the crew. That's Oppie fighting everybody else on our behalf. I don't know what else to say about that. Well, look, we've got plenty of wounds for us to lick, plenty of filling up and patching up to do, but also plenty of upgrading. Yes, we are not coming back from a run like that and not immediately investing it in ourselves. And, well, the very first thing is going to have to be that lead-lined lab coat. Thank you. The radiation suit needs Olympium fragments, and I'm pretty sure we unlock the knowledge of those from those frog spawn things. I'm also building this stuff for a not insignificant amount of plasma, and it seems like it actually isn't mutually exclusive. Like, we don't have to choose. We can just kind of go down this path. So there's a whole bunch of things going into that, and we are quite a durable boy here. We're most certainly going to need more storage space, actually. Not only did we find more stuff than was in the lockers, we actually found more stuff than we could store. There we are. The things we're getting into use a lot of materials, but we are entering into an era of rapid progress. Okay. And we are seriously going to need the transfer trunk that I so scoffed at in the beginning of the game. Meanwhile, we've also got to start scrapping our dumpster pearls. Oh my god. Oh! So many good things off of that ship, and or satellite, or whatever it was that fell. And now we've got all this stuff. Even cosmetics in there. That is insane. That's so much more than the last one we broke up. Just as an experiment, I'm going to put the off-road tire in the matter regenerator. I don't actually know if it'll work. I'm pretty sure it only does stuff between runs, and even if it does fix the health, it may not get rid of the status effects, which is what it really is. But in any case, yep, here's what we use the transfer trunk for. That's one thing. One thing. Yeah, we're using the shop vac for this. Oh, that's steel! And we found like a couple hundred scrap while we were out there, so, I've only at least noticed these things, these falling skies, twice in the game. But it's clearly well worth it. I think, are you actually being blocked from dispensing more? No, I think you're just bugged from all the excitement. Here you go. Maybe I can fix you. Oh, holy moly. We do have the ability to see what the old school steering wheel looks like. And I kinda think that that's exactly what we should get. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. I sorta like it. Again, it's really weird to be looking at something that we weren't looking at for the whole game. But it's nice. And it came from space. For about 60 of that thermosap, we can get the junction restabilizer, which will allow you to use a scanner charge to send a modified signal to a junction, scrambling it. I'm not sure what that does exactly. Yeah, no, you just tell me the same thing. Oh, that's an add-on to our map itself. What does that actually allow us to do? So I googled it, and apparently it's actually quite literal in the name Scrambler. Allows us to re-roll a junction all the way down to making it so that it's not super unstable anymore. It's, of course, completely randomized, so it can backfire, but you get the idea. Now, this thing we need just a bit of corrupted energy, but it'll allow us to bypass junctions. That sounds like a big deal. There's about 1,000,001 things unlocked by getting the seat rack. Yep. And so, obviously, we're going to want one of these things. We'll just stick you right there. I mean, hey, we've got no passengers. We're not using that space anyway, right? There are 1,000,001 cool upgrades in here, and I'm going to be getting to those at the start of the next episode. But for right now, all I want to do is build the stuff that I could have used now. First of all, the thermal vacuum, which will be able to do both of the things that I ran into out there, collect the new resources, which means we want to head back into the Scorch. But more importantly, much more importantly, side battery. And we're going to need another side rack as well. There's our side battery, and that is a huge portion of our problems solved. And that brings our capacity from 50 to 85. I could stack these, but I think I'd rather probably have the fuel. Look at that. You even get a nice little fin back there. That should count as a lightning rod. But the shark is fully upgraded and ready to ride. We even get the achievement Car of Theseus. Replace all of the car's original parts. This thing is almost unrecognizable from even the beginning of the episode, but hey, I like it. I like it a lot. Now, like I've said, there is still plenty more that I can and should do with all the resources we gained on that last run, and I want to do all of it, but that'll have to wait until next time. Until then, if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one. We are really taking off now in a big way. What is this?
Poppy, I gotta ask. Were you around when the old wall was nearly breached?
You want to know if I was involved?
I mean, sure. No one knew more about where anomalies came from than you. Heck, I mean, you know, the only reason anyone knew anything about anomalies was because of the research branch that you four started to build.
Yes, and we developed ways to prevent anomalies, not create them.
You can't prevent something if you don't know where it's created in the first place.
So you did pick up a thing or two around us scientists.
Sounds like he picked up more than a little. He's got the whole mindset for it. And right now I'm just doing a little loot run. But I guess we're getting some story along the way.
All I know is, Arda didn't give two craps about anomaly prevention. You fought uphill the entire way.
Never thought I'd see the day where you'd sugarcoat anything coming out of your mouth. The Harmonic Disruption Research Lab was an abject failure. No, I wasn't involved, but I stood by and let it happen. By that point, the LIMP project was in a bad way. Either it found a breakthrough and justified the government resources it was sucking up, or the entire project was put down. Everything depended on this technological quantum leap that evaded us for decades.
In response, all good sense went straight out the window. For every wonder pulled out of thin air, LIMP technology conjured increasingly greater horrors. But it was done in the name of progress, and we were powerless to stop it. The Harmonic Disruption Research Branch was all I could do to soften the atrocities Arda unleashed in the name of progress. I tried to clean up my mess, but I failed.
So you weren't always just an establishment type. I kind of thought that your current characterization was more of a post-event thing. Seems there was always something of this in you. Let's just enjoy some nice healing. You know, I think it's really cool how, like, just one of you guys is our repair bay at home, like, for items. Seems pretty smart and logical if you asked me. We can jump out of here. This is just like a little between parts loot run, but I think it'll be a smart idea to try and look for some of those eggs, because we've got our thermal vacuum and we want to collect some. I'm going to try something now that we do have the tools for it. We're going to smash all 3 of these, and then we're just going to... Oh, how do I use this? There we go. There's just a little bit of wind-up time. But that should be much better than what we were doing previously, provided it actually gets it all. That's right, you grab that flare, you. And we can use this to just immediately pull all this off with much more strength. That feels much better than the one before. We've got to start looking into uses for this tree candy.
You're not the first to try crossing the old wall since the anomalies moved in. But we'll make sure you're the first to survive. 2 things to keep in mind. First, to get through the old wall, there are 5 crossing points. You need to induce the electrical grid the entire way by driving the car close enough and fast enough along the conductors. You'll see them as you go. Once you jumpstart the grid, Tobias will route the mid-zone power your way, but no induction, no power, no crossing. Second, watch your battery gauge. You will live or die by that thing. Got it? Good. Start by connecting the power grid at the first crossing point. The controls will be up in the observation tower.
Yeah, that's all well and good, but see, here's the thingamajig. I actually haven't prepared for this. I didn't install the limb shield because this was just supposed to be a loot run between episodes. And then you started ambushing me with story before that, which you've never done before, and then I was just kind of like led this way. So, should have made the last jump. Instead, I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. I should probably just try to make the first jump out. But this being a story place, it looks like everything we need may actually be beyond the wall. We may actually be in for a penny, in for a pound at this stage. Oh, look at this. Look at these crumbling old structures. Is this a preview of what we're gonna see once we get beyond there? The issue is, I can get the tools, or the materials to build this thing, but it simply won't let me. I don't have a tier 3 bench. You look like a new version of this anomaly. Devil Grinder. Field Headquarters, 1968. So imagine a Dust Devil, yeah? You know those? So imagine a Dust Devil, right? But turned up to the max. Yeah, I said to the max. Lenny, hold the receiver to your ear. Your ear. Yeah, so it's like a Dust Devil, but so much more powerful. Like, small, like focused. But so strong. With the strength to just pick up trash and even stones and hurl them around. Collins has a concussion or some crap like that. A concussion. Huh? Oh, it's when you hurt your head. No, not when you hurt your head. I mean, a concussion is when a person hurts their head. What did you say? Yeah, sure, like a boxer. Listen, Lenny, I've seen this thing smash a truck into submission. Like, just pummel them. I said pummel them. Hey, hold the receiver to your ear, man. Shout. I am shouting, Lenny, but you're not listening. I'm trying to... Lenny, what is going on? What are you doing? Is someone there? Who is that? What the... Lenny, are you kissing? God, why do all of these conversations sound like a gag from an 80s movie? I guess this whole thing kind of feels like it, despite being taking place in the 90s. Oh my, there's a lot of new things. And as the rules go for all new things, keep the car well away. You're made of tourists. Tour bus. Okay, well, I'll be honest, I'm excited because I know that one of our research things was needed for that. Anita Olson, November 28th, 1968. We've lost Dr. Powell now, too. Yes, I'm fine. Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I'll hold... Yes, that's right. Yes, he was adamant it was safe. It was stupid and it was unnecessary. Listen, tell your men to stay back. This one is even more dangerous than the others. It's like an evolution. Yes, that's what I said. I don't care what you think. We can worry about that later. Right now, I need helicopter extraction, and nobody, I mean nobody, goes near any more of those things. Don't forget, Captain, that the chain of command just changed. Now I'm in charge. This game can be very, almost disappointingly lighthearted at times. But every once in a while, it reminds you just what this is. Are you one of those transmuters? You are, and we can actually get magnets from you, something we don't have a lot of. Could actually be worth it for scrap. But right now, we really need to avoid all these things. There's even more to scan. Okay, we'll leave you here and assume these things ain't moving. The rain is charging our battery. Oh, no. I'm not taking this risk. I'm not taking this risk with you sliding. It's radioactive. We are losing health. We need to move. You're a resource that we can extract with the hand back. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Electronics and red balloon. That could have been dangerous. I shouldn't have done that before reading the entry. But I've left so many resources behind before, I felt that I had to. Okay. What say you, Log? Dr. A.F. Kingi, date unknown. Cleanup continues, but even 6 weeks after February's lab explosion, we're still finding more and more gel that has escaped into the atmosphere. Between 700 and 800 cubic meters of material was ejected in the blast. We believe it was initially distributed over approximately 200 square kilometers. But given the nature of the material, it may well have traveled further. Given time, it would seem that most gel tends to settle somewhere around local ground level, regardless of environmental conditions, altitude, or air pressure. However, its very nature makes it susceptible to strong winds and meteorological changes, meaning it may be many weeks before we have a full picture of the scale of distribution. In addition, it seems that a great deal of blast debris may have been mixed with, perhaps even suspended in the gel, which has a habit of slowly absorbing items it passes over. So it's literally the blob. Well, I suppose we're wearing our inspirations on our sleeve now. God, this quirk is really annoying. It just kind of came up. Okay, we need to see if we can get over this thing to the other side. Add this to the ever-growing list of frustrations with the fact that earlier was not actually supposed to be a full-on record session. I had thought that I was soft-locked into not being able to do that thing and having to abandon save, but it turns out that's actually not true. If you're, like, tanky enough, and if you're willing to repair on the fly, you can actually just kind of, like, brute force that whole segment, which I think is really, really cool. However, it wasn't supposed to be a record session. It wasn't supposed to be a whole thing, so I was already way over time, and I ended up having to leave. And in frustration, I just ended up saying, like, I don't want to deal with this later, I'm just going to abandon the run. So we did that, and that's fine, you know, everything's fine. But now we don't have the plasma we need to actually build this thing, and I'm going to have to go on another run, and it's just a whole, and add to that the fact that I wasn't staggering my saves properly because that wasn't supposed to be a whole run, and we have problems. The good news is that we do nevertheless have a ton of materials in storage. We did get to keep a fair amount, and we can build some things that will help us get through that more easily. They told us we would live and die on battery, so let's expand our battery capacity greatly by eschewing fuel, but, you know, we won't worry about that. There we go, bringing our total capacity to 150. That's an upgrade. That is an upgrade. Ow. We have quite a lot of quirks, and we're going to want to resolve... I want to resolve all of them before leaving, so let's work on that. And in fact, I believe there were some upgrades we could get that would help us with such a thing. Have I seen one of those impact locks on a hazmat cabinet before? This might be the very first time that's happening for me. I'm just trying to get some plasma so that I can build the thing. Anomaly encounters number 6. No, I do not care about the shock absorber shifter. I care about anomaly encounters. I've worked in the zone for 8 years, and I've seen the bunnies. I've seen the crawlers. I've seen those things that explode. This was far worse. This was a monster. Like a dark, bristling caterpillar. The kind you see inching along the sidewalk. Except this one was climbing the first wall. The old one from the 50s. And it was easily half the height. We're going there. It must have been 100 yards long, and it climbed that wall as casually as if it were a curb. We're going there. You know, I've noticed a distinct habit with this game, and I really sincerely doubt that it's intentional. But I've noticed this real trend where whenever I have to go back and put something off for a while, it really likes to show me something that would make that seem so much more dangerous when we finally do arrive. Now that we are carrying a handbag just around, we can actually do the ideal thing and just sort of suck all that out. Oh, but we don't get all the materials. We only get the glass and bulbs. We don't get, like, the copper wire and all those goodies. That's kind of annoying. Now, even though we're moving in the very well-traveled outer zone right now, this is still technically new ground. so we're gonna want to keep an eye out and be careful and come back with as much as we can. But I think just one or two more of these anchors should get us out of here. Hey, it doesn't hurt to have new routes, right? Still, it matters very little because now we can build the limb shield. And, oh, is this a bumper? Okay, maybe we'll remove the limb pulse emitter for now, if that is indeed the case. Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, tell you what, you, depending on how big you are, maybe we'll actually just put you in the roof storage. You're not that big. Yeah, no, we can take you if we want to swap you out at any point. But presumably you work pretty well, right? Are you something that we have to activate? That's the next question. We'll put you in the same slot if true. You are. Yep, there you go. A powerful, protective physical shield, so you're literally a force field, not just a damage modifier. One thing I noticed that's going to prompt a staggered save is it's actually not completing the objective. It's telling me specifically, store the items for your drive in the car trunk. It's not telling me to install you. So is there a specific reason for that, or... I mean, I guess it doesn't matter either way, but still, that's kind of concerning. Anomaly studies number 3. And this time we're not going to learn about paint. Sighted consistently between late 1959 and early 1961. This anomaly was attracted to any transmitters broadcasting at particular shortwave bands. About the size of a bird, roughly spherical, chrome-like, and able to fly through unknown means. This anomaly would latch itself to broadcast antenna and begin to dissolve, or perhaps consume the metal. Stubborn and difficult to dislodge, this anomaly began to disappear when zone personnel began using different frequencies. Now, that's strange indeed. So there's things that have come and gone. And it does suggest, like, a certain level of, I guess, human influence. I mean, that's sort of what we were starting to learn by this point anyway. But even still, like, it's really interesting how you just get these, like, little tidbits here and there. You are in the middle of a very dangerous area, but I should be fine, yes? This would be a lot more devastating had I not gotten so many rad upgrades.
After the multi-stage evacuation of the Olympic Peninsula's 100,000-strong population, the records get sketchy. Once the region is swept clean of civilian eyes, the flow of information trickles to an eventual stop. ARDA has always maintained that the evacuation was done in the name of national security, that there was simply nothing more patriotic than sacrificing your homes, with the communists plotting our demise across the Atlantic. Certainly not because there was any danger from the strange experiments happening inside, or situations most unnatural to witness. ARDA kept a wide berth, displacing citizens far ahead of the front line, so first-hand accounts of things going awry were rare. But rumors spread fast, and everyone had some story about a distant relative whose pet changed in inexplicable ways, or a friend of a friend who followed strange lights into the woods and never returned. Once the civilians cleared out, the ARDA employees moved in. Scientists, officials, support staff, and their families made the Olympic Exclusion Zone home, reaching anywhere from 300 to 1,000 in total at its peak. What any of them were doing in the zone was kept hush-hush, with the population just outside the walls found the secrecy irresistible. Every shipment of raw material, out-of-season weather pattern, and inexplicable light or sound became the talk of the town for the first decade of the zone's existence.
Okay, I've been meaning to get a scan of yous. Yep, you go ahead and do that. I don't have a scan of you. Moldy balloon. Thank you, sir. I will get your information in just a moment. In the meantime, goodbye. You have been very terrible company. Oh my god, leave me alone. Wait. Hang on now, hang on now, hang on now. Is that our old vehicle? Can we... Okay, no, it doesn't have our stuff. Remnant ghost. The other day, Dr. Everett again brought up that theory he has about nothing truly being lost in the zone. You know, nothing really goes away, but is only moved somewhere else. Maybe even somewhen else. If we search long and hard enough, then things won't just be found. They'll be preserved. Every object, maybe even every sound, every thought, every... I don't know if I feel much of my work or even my life is preserved here. So much is gone. We all lost a lot these last 3 years. Some people encourage you to be philosophical and view it as change, but I lack that wisdom or optimism. The zone and these experiments took so much, including you. So I'm writing you this note, and maybe it will even find you, preserved somewhere, somehow, amongst all the other mangled moments and memories that make up this place. Maybe it will find someone else, perhaps as they find something they want. Whatever. I just need at least one person to know that I, Beverly Gates, love you, Maria Valentina Suarez, so much. And I don't care who knows it, or whether I'm supposed to love you, or how professional it is for two colleagues to make their own personal choices. I miss you, and I still think about you when I hear the lock turn on Lab 6, or when I smell lavender in the air. And I will preserve that love, and all its moments long after I've left this nightmare wilderness of sorrow. This is the first time I've actually thought about these messages finding us, these seemingly random ones finding us when I scan something. What a great time for the sun to come up in a place like this. And think about the time period. That's probably not a relationship that would have been thought well of. There's just so much going on there. Ooh, you're a dumpster pearl. You're an actual pearl. Okay, well, we are in very, very rough shape after the whole trek here threw absolutely everything at us. So I'm gonna want to make some room. We need to do some repairs. We lack the ability to make a blowtorch, but if we can scavenge enough of these things, we can at least make some repair putty and get ourselves a crude wheel to replace one of them, which is bald. No, seriously, the whole map a second ago was a storm. We found some of Tobias's poetry! No, hang on, forget the radiation. We're pausing now, so let's read it. An anomaly came from Zone Number 1. So ghastly its aspect it made scientists run. But they left it so sad, this unearthly nomad, who's wanted naught but innocent fun. Honestly, I think the poetry and the science go hand in hand. You've got to have that level of appreciation in order to want it that badly. Beyond replacing that wheel, there's only so much we can do in terms of repairs, so we're just gonna have to hope that we either find some chemicals in there, or the shield really does its job and carries us through.
There
So
are old
let's
shuttle
open it up.
stops at each crossing point. Use them to recharge your battery and hope they're still in working condition after all these years.
You said you would make sure we were the first to make it. Now you're saying we hope to God these things work. Okay, turn on the shield. Gotta go through this. It is, it's really hitting us in the battery. This is a death run. And we're through. Actually, that didn't hit us as badly in the battery as I thought. Okay, I wonder now. We made it through the first. Is there anything we can scavenge here? Go. You. Wait, did we not hit everything? Because wait, there's still a thing back that way.
Tobias, how's the power routing?
Well, the neighbors are complaining about the flickering lights, but I told them to light some candles and sit tight.
Francis?
Levels are good, holding steady.
Okay, well, last one is green. I've got to say, the threat of this was drastically overplayed. If I had known this was going to be what the conditions were like, I would have just driven right through. I would have solved all this nonsense and just done it without the limb thing. I have so much battery. Like, even with... I only had 85 or something like that before, but that would have been plenty. That would have been absolutely plenty. Are you kidding? I was worried this whole time. I absolutely could have brute forced this, unless there's, like, more coming down the road. I mean, either way, it doesn't hurt to be prepared, but I spent a lot of time on this. Okay, we've got to break into here. We've got health, so that's alright. Make sure we get the electronics, because we don't want to leave all that behind. I'm getting like a ton out of these things. Like, they really explode into all the materials in the world these days. Maybe it's being more generous in this area in particular. Okay, up to the next one. Shields on. And right through, right through, right through. Again, we're still doing surprisingly fine. I'm sure we'd be in much worse shape, but I thought we would be worse off in terms of battery, you know?
Getting some interference, Tobias. The power supply is wavering.
I'm working on it. Our local battery farm's putting up a fuss. She hasn't been taxed like this in a while, but I'm easing her into it, don't worry.
I can't help but feel that that's an intentional roadblock. That seemed really, really intended for me, like a warning. Okay, avoid the tour bus for sure. I need loot. If there's even one thing of chemicals, I'll be able to repair myself, but of course if I explode, I'll die, so, you know, give and take. Enuma, you guys probably didn't want me to be doing all this in the middle of this. It's very important, I understand. But there's just so much loot. Oh god, I left the thing on. I just have so much battery.
A little too slow on that one. Try again, driver.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we gotta keep it moving. Turning around turns us around. And let's turn this thing around. I literally have not turned the shield off because it seems literally perfect in every way. Oop. Through. Yep. This is kind of cool. I'm surprised I'm surprised a mechanic like this exists, but only for this part of the game, to be honest. Like, this feels like the kind of thing that we might have been doing all along. You are down, which means we can come through, and look at that!
Battery farms 1 through 3 are reporting total power drain. They're spent.
How long to recharge?
Could take up to a day.
No, I got this.
We'll make it. You launch out. There is a lot ahead of us. We've got to keep in mind that, yeah, endurance is a factor. Things seem easy now, but that could change. I know I'm leaving the anchors behind, but I really don't want to have to turn around too much. And our gas is actually running out.
Total power loss on stations 9 to 15.
I'm on it. Oh, shit.
Get that power back up. The gate at the final crossing point won't open without it.
9 rerouting power from battery farm 6.
Easy. Too much and you'll blow out your control center.
Too little and the entire array's going down. We have no choice.
Could use some gas. I may have no choice but to stop and gas up. You guys don't.
Battery farm 6 cores overloaded. I mean, it's shutting down.
We can't lose the remnant. I won't let it go.
What is going on up there?
The radiation's peaking.
I've got to repair it. I'll be damned if I'm gonna let this plan fail. We're too close. Your theory. We can still prove it.
Stop! It's too dangerous out there.
Tobias. Please, Tobias, come back.
If you turn out to be my undoing, or even your own undoing,
Tobias, please come back.
we are very, very low. We're too low.
Francis, I need you back at the control board.
Not now, Offie!
The minute Tobias reroutes that line, you need to push the connection. Miss it by a split second and we lose the entire power grid.
Almost
God.
ready.
Please don't do this!
Francis, it's now or never.
I'm rerouting the grid now. I'll be ready for you.
Okay, you better be. Alright, I was able to find some fuel in a barrel a while back. Let's put everything we got along the way there. And I think we have enough now for some repair putty. We still don't have the ability to build the blowtorch. Okay, now, remember, we're taking damage while we do all of this. Is there anything that urgently needs it? Lots of things, really. Lots of things. But the main thing is that we really can't let the shield go. So how's it doing? It's low, which is why we've got to heal it. Headlights too. Headlights have got to last. Alright. We are moving. Yeah, our fuel is still low. We're just gonna have to deal. Engage that shield. Through. Should just be up and around the bend then, right? I hope so. We're passing by more barrels, we can keep that in mind. The further we get, the less it matters. Because we've got to be quick. Sometimes we do just have to drive through. Alternate routes are not always ideal. Through. Through. Oh, I can't see a thing anymore.
Give us the signal, Tobias. Tobias?
You know, one time I find myself out of things to say. Bobby, take care of him for me.
Tobias!
Francis, I love you forever. I love you forever.
Oh, we've got to open the gate.
Power's back online. Francis, now!
Tobias, answer. Tobias, answering.
Don't do it. You can't go out there. Driver, the power's holding steady. You can open that final gate.
Okay. Okay, we probably got to do it from up there, right? Let's go. This has to work. We're probably gonna lose some parts in the process, but that's okay. I didn't expect it to just let us through like that. Okay, well, we're gonna want to go back there and scavenge some more later. But oh my god, my heart is pounding. That was really well done, and you know, with the state we were in by the end, I really don't think I should have tried it earlier. Look at us limping along. Even the sun looks different here.
The entire area got scrambled in instability. I'm afraid Tobias...
I told you. I told you, didn't I? We weren't ready. We should have planned it better. We should have known.
We did the best we could.
No. Do not give me that. If we had, he'd be here with us.
I'm sorry, but we've got to help the driver.
Don't you dare. What? Wait, is this how you dealt with Alan's death? You put your head down and let work fill the gaps?
Actually, that's precisely what I did. And you'll recall the breakthrough in self-healing materials that I made that year.
Oh, well, good for you. I'm sure Alan would have been very proud of you using his death that way.
You know what? That whole pep talk I gave you before to convince you to go through with it. That's precisely the same crap Alan would tell me all the time. It's worth the sacrifice. Stay late. Don't worry about me. Finish your work, then we can start a family. Always he'd spew that crap.
So why'd you say it to me?
Because he has to have been right. Because if I let myself think he was wrong, then... I can't live with that regret. I gave everything for them. This is the last thing I'm holding on to for myself. Every single day I still think about how if I had left this on when we had planned to, I wouldn't have lost Alan. I thought, I hoped that Lintech was done killing our own. I'm sorry about Tobias.
Tobias is...
Was all I had. I need to sign off for a while.
We'll be here when you're ready. Glad you got through, driver. Power on that stabilizer, and I'll see you back at the garage.
Oh, that's right. We still have a whole other run to make. And we're not really in shape to do it, especially finding ourselves here after all that just happened. We all could have been better prepared. I'll give this game credit. It was a really exciting sequence that, well, it didn't pay off in the way that I wanted, but it did. And, you know, it's a non-cop-out way of actually engaging with this game's themes. Is it worth it? Is the pursuit, is what we've gained really worth it? The rest of the world has decided no. These few that remain, they're clinging to the hope that it does. One of them just paid the price for that. We are completely dead. We need to scavenge. And according to this, there's a building out there. I'm going to... Look, we don't have a lot of flashlight. We do have a lot of flare. So I'm just going to navigate that way for a while. Look, I know that it's not actually true, but I feel almost like things are just working out perfectly from a narrative perspective, you know? Because look, we find some of Tobias's poetry right before we lose him. We had actually just started to get to know that there was a deeper side to him. All the while, we had also just lost our own vehicle. We had to abandon a run for the first time in a long time. It's only the second time we've done that in this game. And yet, the message that we find when we grab it was one saying that maybe, if other things can be preserved, maybe those who have been lost can be too. I mean, it's a stretch. It's likely a hope with nothing to it, but everyone's got to hold on to that hope. Something which Appy herself just confirmed. She doesn't actually believe these things, but she has to. Something we had long suspected. And what had been set up as our possibly finest hour is now our darkest. Both figuratively and literally. I don't know, everything is just coming together in such a beautiful way. What I will say is that you really hyped it up that I was going to need lots and lots of battery, and even without the one I stuck in the back seat, we would have been fine. I would have much rather kept the gas in retrospect. Okay, but are there any buildings? There are buildings over on the right. Maybe we can also find some vehicles. Those reds. Hopefully we can find some food as well. But it's not really looking very much like it. I shouldn't be wasting my time with these things. I shouldn't be exposing myself to rads if I don't need to. There's a charging station over here and a car, which is what I really need. Okay, gas can. Take. It's actually a decent amount. Think this whole place abandoned since like the 50s. It's actual rot of reality. We might be the first eyes to actually observe this in a while. Or, well, that's not true. Appy chooses to live here, which just goes to show what kind of woman she is. I haven't talked about it nearly enough, but I am in love With the characterization in this game... Oh god, what are these things? There's one right beside me, that's why I'm hesitant to... Oh my god. Okay, we gotta be real careful backing up. Oh my god, you are the worst possible version of this. No. These messed up wheels are making it hard to make the turn that I need. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, Austin Powers. No. Very careful, very careful, and we're out. Okay, goodbye. Let's get far away from those things. So those exist now. I have not bothered with the scan, and no, I don't care. I have not yet bothered with the scan. Hopefully we can repair ourselves just a little bit. Please, just give me even a little bit of chemicals. There we are. We may actually want to use the car's heal function. Here we are. Thankfully, we don't have too far to go. So let's not spend any longer here than we absolutely have to. I like the detail that different zones actually have different sirens, too. It only makes sense. The infrastructure in place is, like, years apart. Wow, that is actually closing in very, very fast, but I expect nothing else from the fabled Deep Zone. You guys just stay out of my way. I'll do my best to stay out of yours. Let's go. And away with us. I think that might have been a new anomaly right there. Wow.
Welcome back. Now we know where the well is. But you're the first to step foot in the Deep Zone in over 15 years.
And I need more time to understand Alan's suppression method. So why don't you stretch your legs and chart the Deep Zone while you're at it? We'll need to map a way to the well as it is.
I guess that's how it is. Even in our darkest hour, we have no choice but to forge ahead. At a certain point, it's not a question of whether it's worth it. We've got to do the only thing in front of us. I just wish the cost didn't have to be so high. But if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.
You might have to hang behind me. You might have to